أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. We are talking about the issue of polygamy in Islam. The enemies of Islam have accused Islam that Islam is a religion of men. And in Islam, women are considered to be inferior. They are humiliated. This is why that the issue of polygamy is a law in Islam. In the former program, of course, I explained that unfortunately they have not understood the reality of the issue of polygamy. If we understand it properly, we will not object Islam. Not only we will not object, we will admire a religion that is so clever to predict even the future of human being and the prosperity of mankind. This is why that we believe the laws of Islam are divine laws. They are originated from a divine source, Allah the Almighty. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. He knows even the future, and He is all wise. Whatever He does is for the benefit and for the prosperity of mankind. What is the reality of polygamy? Polygamy is not just to say that a man is allowed and free to marry any woman, any number of women that he likes, just to satisfy his carnal desires. Not at all. The issue of polygamy is not prescribed to satisfy the desires of men. I told you that we have to look from the angle of that lady who has lost her husband in a war, in an accident, in a car accident. And usually men, because of these events, usually they die and the number of women increase. Then if you look from the angle and from the window of a woman who has lost her husband, what do you want to prescribe for her? Do you want to tell her to continue to be single to the end of her life? This is a very oppressive judgment. Do you want to say that men are free to have illegal relations, sexual relations, apart from of their wives? This is also corruption and prostitution. It will perish the foundations of the society. This is not also a good way, a good solution. The third solution that Islam has suggested is that in such cases, when there are 100 men and there are 105 women, these more 5 women, what should they do? There should be a man to look after them, to take care of them, to feed them, to work and to bring the sustenance for them, and to satisfy their sexual desires and tendencies. They are also human beings. In such case, Islam says that only those men who are capable, who are qualified physically, financially, and very important, morally and spiritually, these types of men, they are allowed to marry these ladies, to have more than one wife. Brothers and sisters, the Western countries who are opposing this rule of Islam, they are protesting. They themselves, practically, they are practicing it, but in a very corrupted way, not in a very healthy way, not in a very chaste way. The way that Islam is suggesting This solution is very chaste, because when a man marries the second wife, like the first wife, has the same rights, and man must take care of her. But in Western countries, they have prohibited, they have banned. But what do? They have gone towards liberalism. They have given a type of liberty that is in fact corruption and prostitution. According to the statistics, in many of these countries, men who have their own wives, and the church does not allow them to have more than one wife, but at the same time, more than 50% of them, they have illegal relations with other women. What does it show? It shows that this is the need of the society. This is the nature of mankind. But if you satisfy the nature in a very natural way, reasonable way, it's good. The way that Islam is suggesting. The way that Islam is suggesting is a very logical and reasonable way. But the way that they are going, they are practicing it. Just they say, okay, we have one wife, but practically they don't. After the Second World War, a lot of these countries who were involved with the issue of the Second World War, and they had lost, a lot of women had lost their husbands because millions of the soldiers were killed. Each of these men had family, had wives. Then what should their wives must do? This is why that the thinkers and the scholars of those days, they wrote to Al-Azhar in Egypt that please give us the conditions and rules of Islam about the issue of polygamy. We have to tell other men who have one wife to come and take care of these women who have lost their husbands. And they took these regulations. But unfortunately, the church banned it and did not allow them. Therefore, brothers and sisters, we have to be very logical, reasonable, not emotional. This is not a matter that you judge based on your emotions. Polygamy in Islam is not well understood. I am claiming that it is misunderstood. It is not a means for the wicked men just to satisfy their desires. This is condemned. We also do not agree with that. If there is a man, he has a very good wife, and he has a very good life, and there is no need to remarry just for his carnal desires, this is not accepted, of course. Islam says that in such cases, when there are some women, instead of pushing them towards prostitution, because this is the instinct of any human being, they have sexual tendencies. How do they want to satisfy? Let them to satisfy it in a very lawful way, not unlawful way. And polygamy is a very chaste way that Islam is suggesting. We will continue the issue of polygamy and monogamy in next program, inshallah. Until then, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.